And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of the WardiTV Monday number 24. We are nearing the later half of the broadcast here. We have 3 matches left. We have the upper semis, lower semis, and then grand final. So 3 series remaining. We're here to find out the first player to make it to those grand finals. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the French Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss. It is Classic. And you know what time it is? You know what time it is? If you're in the chat, it's Gamba time. It's Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. As a reminder, this is a prediction for the entirety of the series, not just the game. So best of luck for this best of 3. As Clem does open up aggressively, double gas open out of Clem. This can lead a couple of different ways. This can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion. This can go into an early 1-1-1 Tech Lab into Cyclone, into Tank Drop across the map. This can lead into Banshee play. This can lead a couple of different ways. We'll see how Clem does approach this. Meanwhile, Classic, he does confirm both gases. So Classic scouts, he confirms both gases. He knows it's going to be a later CC. He knows that it is going to be a more aggressive start. It's going to be on Classic to confirm what exactly is going on, as he's being as annoying as possible. Oh, there's that factory. Factory's on the way. Classic does pull out. Back at home, Classic going for a standard opener, going for a gate into Cybercore into expansion. So everything looking normal for the time being. Everything is looking normal. Again, when it comes to, the overall state of play here and our overall players, Clem, of course, he's the favorite player to win the entire event. He's the best player in the world, but we have seen him fall from time to time to players like a Classic, like a Hero, like a Max Pax. He can be brought down, but alas, it is more of an exception than the norm. The norm is Clem. He's the world champion for a reason. is the reigning world champion. Meanwhile, Classic is very fond of this Stargate opener. Classic, if you've been watching Classic's PBTs as of late, even over the past 6 months, you will know that Classic is very fond of Stargate play more than all others. He does play Blink from time to time, but if he can get away with it, he will open and play Stargate more often than not. So Stargate play out of Classic, it can be risky, can be very risky here, can be abused, it can be quite vulnerable. And Clem dips in, and Clem, he is going for the scouts. It doesn't quite get eyes on the tech, though. He's going to be zoned away. Clem is denied. And behind this, getting to his own 1-1-1. That is a Cyclone first. Do we go for the map? He's going for a tank drop. He's going for a tank drop across the map. Classic is going to be in trouble here, and this is perfect against a Stargate opener. Now, talking about Stargate play, a reason why this is not really the meta, this is not really the norm, is because you are vulnerable. You are vulnerable here with Stargate openers to early game aggression, just because you have so little to defend. Again, Phoenixes, they can lift up 1 unit at a time, so early on, you have few Phoenixes, you can't really lift that much to work with to begin with. So he is vulnerable, and as we mentioned, Clem is going for a tank drop. He's going for the drop, a tank is on the way, he's waiting for the tank with the medevac. Cyclone rallies, a Viking rallies as well. And Clem, he hasn't even scouted the tech, he doesn't even know what's going on, but it's a good guess. Against Classic, it is a good assumption, and he's going to be rallying everything across the map. The Marines, the tanks, the rest of the army is already pushing, and Classic is going to be in trouble. And Classic, he has no shield battery! He doesn't know. He doesn't know what's going on, doesn't know what's coming his way. Classic, he shades out. He sees the army, he sees the Cyclone. We need shield batteries. As we have 3 Phoenixes. Is that good? 4 Adepts might be enough. There's the lift. Adepts, they do commit. Ooh, but the Phoenixes are being targeted down. He gets 1, he gets 2. And now there's 1 Phoenix left, and likewise it falls as well. Yeah, the Phoenix count reduced to ashes. Viking lands, Adepts are the only thing standing. Adepts are going down as well. And remember, there's no shield battery, there's no defensive setup. Clemmy's done it. He breaks through. He breaks through the defensive line. There's almost nothing left to defend. There's 1 Stalker and 1 Phoenix. And what does that do against this army? Against Marines, tanks, Cyclones, Vikings. Anything and everything Terran. And Clemmy's starting things off with a win here, with a bang. As the tank just shell away the expansion. No mining whatsoever. Here comes the lift. Phoenix once again is targeted. Oh, barely survives. Not bad. Survives a little bit longer here. Focusing down those Marines as best he can. But that's going to be 14 probe kills. Oh my god, no! The tank fire! 18 probes. Second tank arrives. The natural it's forfeit. And again, this is why it's risky to play Stargate. It isn't just that though. Like, we have seen players go Stargate and survive this, but GG gets called and Clem will take a lead. GG. What's important, we have seen players pull off a defense with Stargate openers against this build. That is true. We actually saw that this morning. If you're watching Zaun versus Clem on Frostline. Zaun versus Clem on Frostline this morning during the best of 9 show match. For those that are curious, we did cast a show match between Zaun and Clem. Did cast a best of 9. And Zaun had a very impressive defense on Frostline against this very same build with a Stargate opener. But what's important is that Zaun, he saw it coming ahead of time. He saw it coming ahead of time, so he had a shield battery, and he had a surround set up as well. He was able to collapse on the army from multiple angles. It was a very different kind of dynamic, because Zaun had the foresight, or had forewarning, as to what was happening. Here, Classic didn't know. Classic, he had no idea. That's why he had no defensive setup. He had no immortal. He had no shield battery. He had nothing to defend. GG. GG, well played. Classic, he was caught with his pants down, and now we are getting into game number 2. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the French Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom, or in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player from South Korea. Down in the series, the pressure is on. He has to fight back here and now to force that ace match. It is Classic. We go. Whew. And welcome one and all to Amygdala. Amygdala is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Coming into this map, I would say it is more viable for Classic to open up Stargate on a map as large as this. I do think it's more viable, it's more accessible to play Stargate, to be defensive and to get away with it. But after what happened in the last game, now I don't know anymore. I don't know if it's wise to play Stargate 2 games in a row. Like, Clem already has momentum. Is it wise to be risky? Is it wise to cut corners and play Stargate again after being punished for it? This is where mind games come into play. This is where this isn't just an isolated game between Classic and Clem. This is a series, and game 1 impacts what happens in game 2. Like, how players think about their builds and how they think about their opponents, it all does change depending on what happens, and because of that, Classic, he might be forced into a Twilight Council opener instead. We'll see. We shall see. For now, Clem does open up single gas, so he's going for a Rax into a CC on the low ground. Does get it on location, nicely done. So this time, a more economic opener. And the reason why we're seeing a more economic opener here in game 2, as you mentioned, is because this map is very large. It's a very large map, very long rush distance by ground. So being greedy and playing towards a later game is seen more often here on Amygdala. Which is why I'm saying that something like a Stargate opener is viable. It's viable here. It's a little bit easier to get away with. But we'll keep an eye on Classic. Comes down to our Protoss. For now, standard opener. We will soon see our tech of choice. We'll see what Classic does embrace. And there it is. Twilight Council. Doesn't take the risk. This time he doesn't risk it, even though I do feel like it is easier to get into Stargate play here on this map. He doesn't go for it after what happened in game 1. He's done with it. Blink instead. So going for something more standard, something more secure, something more safe. Is going into Blink, into a third base, into towards that mid game. Meanwhile, Clem going into his own 1-1-1. Clem has very limited scouting, and by limited I mean 0 scouting. He has not seen anything, no SCV scout, no Reaper scout. Again, it's very common for Terrans at this level of play to just forego scouting early on. There's not really much they have to be concerned by, and they can just cut corners and be greedy. The follow-up scout should be with this Hellion. The Hellion's being repaired, and the Hellion should be the first unit to move out across the map alongside the Mine Drop. This is why Mine Drops are so common in TvP. They're not really about getting damage, they're about scouting. Because again, Clem has no idea what's happening, but he will soon base off the Widow Mine Drop. As he'll be able to boost into the main base, potentially kill some probes, but more importantly, scout the tech and scout the gateways, scout the third base, see saturation. That's really what's more valuable here from the initial Widowmine drop, more so than the damage. So here we go. Drop is moving out. It's going to be Widowmines alongside Marines. Now I have to eat my words a little bit. If this is a mine drop, it's just about scouting. If it's a Marine drop, it's about damage. Like, this is more committed. Moving out with the Marines and with the Widowmine. Clem boosting in towards the main. Adept does scout. Nice positioning here by Classic. He knows what's going on. Behind this, we have 3 gateways in the main. So 3 gate blink. Very safe play here. You can warp in 3 stalkers at a time. And Classic will deflect. And just like that, Clem now knows it was a blink-based opener. He knows it was not Stargate. Sees all the stalkers. And does pull away. Liberation. He also saw the gateway explosion as well. So we should see Clem be more defensive. He should be walling up, and setting up his bunker, setting up his tanks. Third base is now being taken, but I believe Clem did not see the third yet. For all he knows, it could be 4-gate blink. Oh! The Liberator is getting caught out. Clem does get away. Just barely. Does pull back. Tanks are actually moving out here, not setting up back at home. And Clem being a little bit greedy here. But being adventurous. As Clem is pushing, no fear whatsoever. Oh my god. Again, I mean, for all he knows, it could have been a bigger commitment into gateways. As we can see, it's going to be a third base, and Clem just moves out anyway. He does push. Classic, he will slow him down, takes down the Hellion, takes down a couple of Marines. And so important here that Classic slows down this army and chips away at it. So far, good pickups. Very nicely done here by Classic. And by the time Clem gets across the map, now his army is half the size it once was. He lost how many? He lost 10 Marines so far. Immortal has arrived. Clem, his goal is to kill the third. Classic, can he hold on to it? Now the Liberator does go for the blink. Goes for the dive, takes down the lid, takes down the tanks. And Classic, he will hold, he will shut this down. And again, Clem, he was just a little bit too cavalier with this army. Losing another tank. And Clem's in trouble. Clem sees in a lot of trouble here. Every tank goes down. Raven as well, Marines. Clem, what does he have to defend? Nothing. Remember, no bunker. No bunker. No defensive setup. He has 1 tank. And Classic, he can send it. He can blink in, and he will. Dives on the tank. Tank goes down. And Clem, he's down to 2 Marines. He's down to a handful of Marines, 1 Marauder, a couple of boys. He has to pull them. And even then, this is critical damage. Nice target firing. Classic shuts down the Marauder. Cleans up all the bio. And Classic can just rally. He can just rally across the map. He has broken Clem. Again, Clem just too aggressive. He got too excited back. Too excited. Losing 4 more SCVs. Now, reinforcements are taking a long time to arrive. True. There is no War Prism. So Clem, he might be able to buy a little bit of time here. But he's still losing so many SCVs. And his tank count was reset. Even getting another Marauder. He gets 2. ABGB just keep going. Classic can just keep on pushing. Just very nice target firing. And with the arrival of the War Prism, that should just be game. To be honest, it should just be game. There's just nothing here. There's 2 Widowmines, a Marauder. Mine shots get baited out. Nice avoid. Here comes that Prism. Here come the reinforcements. And Clem is being punished for his aggression. Is being punished. There's a scan for the Observer. Observer's too far back. Widowmine goes down once again. And Clem, he's trying to hold on as best he can. He's trying. Doesn't want to accept defeat here. But we are forcing a series. GG gets called, and Classic, he forces the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. As Classic does tie things up, and we are going all the way to game number 3. And again, Clem was just overly aggressive here. He did have a decent start to the game, but just kept on going. He sent everything across the map towards the third base. He did not know what he was pushing into, and shout out to Classic because he did have the wherewithal to be active with those stalkers and to slow down the push. Remember, as we were mentioning, when Clem was pushing towards the third base, he lost 10 Marines in the process. He lost most of his bio trying to push across the map. By the time he got there, didn't really have much support. He didn't really have much to really support those tanks and to keep them alive and to protect them. Did not have enough with that. GG, well played. Classic does overwhelm. And now we find ourselves in Game 3. Let's go. It all ends here. It all ends on Whispers of Gold. It all ends on Whispers. And we'll see how this story ends. Whispers of Gold, of course, is a very small map, is a very aggressive map. It is the rush map of the map pool. So, I don't see a Stargate open out of Classic. I'll be honest. No Stargate. Maybe Robo. Most likely Twilight Council. We'll see. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the French Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid, being forced into the ace match. We'll see if he can bring it back. It is Clem. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss. It is Classic. Tying up the series 1-1, and again, punishing Clem for being overly aggressive. Like, Clem, he just committed so hard so early on. It did feel like overconfidence, I'll be honest. It did feel like Clem, he was just a little bit overconfident, and with that, he was punished quite hard. Coming into game number 3, I would imagine that Clem is going to be a lot more tempered this time. I would imagine that if he does find himself with the lead, he most likely will just back off, slow things down, and extend that lead instead. But we'll see. We shall see. So far, double gas. Double gas opener out of Clem, going for a delayed TC, going for a faster factory. So much more aggressive. Now, we saw that this build in game 1, what did it lead into? It led into 1-1-1 Tech Lab, into Cyclone, Medevac, into Tank Drop, into a really brutal tank, basically all in. It was just a tank timing with the Medevac across the map. Very aggressive build here by Clem. It could be the same build. This could lead into Reactor to Reaper Hellion instead. This can lead into a Banshee based opener, which is also very trendy in this matchup. Clem has options. Does have options. We'll try to keep an eye on Clem. See what this aggression leads into, as that factory is on the way. Back at home, standard opener out of Classic. Nothing crazy, there's no proxy, there's no gateway out on the map. Everything looking normal. Ooh, as we are not making Reapers. Okay, so already no Reactor Reaper Hellion. He's going into double Marine production. This should lead into a CC. As I believe Clem is going to be delaying his command center. Do we go for the earlier add-on? Do we go for a Tech Lab into Starport? Do we go for a one base all in? There's that Tech Lab on the way. There's just a one base all in. Let's go. Gumiho, is that you? I haven't seen Clem one base all in too often, I'll be honest, but this is hyper aggressive from our Terran player. Remember, in game 1, when Clem went for the tank drop, he still expanded. He still went for the CC after the factory. Classic, he pokes in, he sees nothing on the low ground. The problem here, this isn't really a tell. For all Classic knows, there could be a CC further back in the main on the high ground. It is not uncommon to have that CC further back instead to be safe. So Classic, he only has a piece of the puzzle, doesn't really know what's going on. Doesn't know how all in Clem is being. Clem, he's an animal, Jesus. Now we should be seeing Cyclone into tank. We should be seeing a tank after this, I would imagine. Yeah, there we go. Tank is on the way. So this is very similar to game 1, but like cranked up to 11. Like this is even more all in, even more committed. Going for the tank drop across the map. We're going to have extra Marines. We might even pull the boys with this. We might just pull the boys to help repair and help buffer. As Clem is rallying everything across the map. Phoenix taking a lot of hits. Taking a lot of damage already. And wait, it was a Star... No, I didn't notice. The Stargate. No, Stargate opener. He's crazy. Stargate opener once on Whispers of Gold. He's crazy. Now, this time he has a shield battery, thankfully. This time there's a shield battery, but this is risky. It's very risky here from Classic. I was focusing on what Clem was doing. I didn't even notice he went for the Stargate. Okay. Oh, God. The shield battery is exposed. It's not gonna be. It might finish, but it's gonna go down almost instantly. Tank's a little bit too far behind, but is within range of the shield battery. We go for the lift. Phoenix is targeted down. Nice. Oh, the micro saves the cyclone. Does fall back, saves the cyclone. Shield battery does fall. And Clem, he's moving forward. Now the tank is a little bit far back, but he's within range of the cybercore. Intentionally so. Cybercore's gonna fall, which means no more Stalker reinforcements. Backup shield battery on the way. And remember, there is no expansion. This isn't all in. Clem pushing forward. Tank's still a little bit far back. Within range of the gateway. Here comes that bunker. Goes to the lift. Oh, the Phoenix goes down almost instantly. And again, the Phoenixes, they do nothing here. They get focused down one after the other. Viking does land. Stalkers are targeted. And Clem, he does it. He does it. He breaks through the defensive line. There's 3 zealots remaining. There's slow lots. That's all we can warp in. The cybercore went down. No stalkers. No nothing. Vikings, they can just lift once again. And Clem, he has done it. He has punished Classic twice now this series for the Stargate play. I didn't mind Classic going Stargate on Ultra Love. It was an okay decision. But here on Whispers, that's crazy. It's crazy, man. Again, this is the rush map. This is it. You don't get more aggressive than Whispers of Gold. Not in this map pool. The boys are being pulled, and Classic's gonna lose everything. Gonna lose everything here. The Stalkers, the probes. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Clem just doubling down and going for the one base all in. And a little bit shocking, but Classic did decide to open Stargate here on Whispers of Gold. A very, very bold move. After what happened in Game 1, I didn't think we'd see it again, but he went for it. And again, on the rush map, on the smallest map in the map pool, with the shortest rush distance as well. Crazy choice there by Classic. He gets punished for it. Does get punished for it. GG, well played. And Clem will be the first to make it to those finals. But a shout to Classic because, hey, he made a series out of it, right? He made a series out of it. He was able to force the ace match as well. Very impressive. Did force the ace match. Did make Clem bleed. And even forced Clem to one base all in. Aye. But here we go. We're getting into the lower semifinals. Looks like the videos are done. And I'm just trying to set up in time.